Please kindly confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, good afternoon once again. Um, we are going to
Hello.
be discuss we are going to be discussing about loss relief. What is loss relief all about? During our last lecture, I made us to understand that one of the reasons for having an adjusted profit different from accounting profit is depreciation. And in taxable income, in taxation, depreciation is usually disallowed, right? And in the process of generating a revenue or in the process of generating an income that will be subjected to tax, the entity must have also used some items, either in the production of the items that will be sold to the external parties for income generation, or it could also be some items of property, plant, and equipment that are also used in the production of the services that the organization is also generating revenue, which will also be subjected to tax from. So, in that regards, different companies have different policies when it comes to the depreciation, whether in terms of the depreciation rates or in terms of the method of depreciation that the entity will adopt. I also brought it to our attention that there are some times whereby you may have two different organizations that has the same assets. Two different organizations may have the same assets, but the depreciation rates that will be applied to that their assets might be different, whereby it now creates different amounts that could be charged for depreciation purpose. So entity A may purchase a motor vehicle worth 5 million naira. Entity B may also purchase a motor vehicle that cost 5 million naira. If these two entities are operating in the same industry or different industry, entity A may decide that it wants to adopt reducing balance method, while entity B may decide that it wants to adopt straight line method. So regardless of the number of years that are being used by this organization, by these two different entities, they are not going to get the same depreciation at the end of each reporting period. Entity A may decide that its useful life of the assets is 5 years. This same entity B could also decide that the useful life of its own assets will also be 5 years. But as a result of the different depreciation method that they are using, the two entities will never have the same depreciation at the end of the financial reporting year. That is one of the reasons why depreciation is not allowed, right? And in the process of having this, our accounting profits and our taxable profits may be different from each other. So Now that we are having different accounting method, the same way we also have the rules that back how our taxes will also be applied. So that is what will now be leading us to capital allowance and loss relief. So what we'll be doing today, we are going to start with loss relief, right? And then we also introduce ourselves to the capital allowance. The reason why I start with this depreciation is that because it's going to be useful to us when we get to capital allowance. And in terms of the loss relief, they also has a relationship with each other. So that is why I have to revise what we did in our last class that led to the adjusted profits. So now, moving into the topic proper, loss relief. This is a process by which taxpayer is relieved against losses made in trade or business in a relevant tax year. Sometimes we could have accounting profits at the end of the year, but due to some adjustments that we could have as a result of using tax law, we may likely have what is called losses at the end of the accounting year. Are you getting my point now? So, number one is this. Let us take a look from this angle, whereby the accounting profit that the company has, accounting profits is 70,000, and the accessible profits, this accounting profit that we are having could lead to accessible loss after we might have considered some adjustments, which could be, let's say, 10,000 loss, accessible loss. So this loss, how are we going to claim it? How are we going to get advantage of it in the subsequent period? That is what we want to be looking at today. So I said that the loss relief is the process by which taxpayer is relieved against losses made in the trade or business in a relevant tax year. The losses incurred by the taxpayer in one year are deductible from the profits of the taxpayer in the subsequent years, provided there is a profit that the entity has made in the subsequent year. So if the entity has not made any profit, what it then means is that the company will continue carrying forward the losses that were made in the prior periods. These ascertained losses may be carried forward and offset against subsequent years' accessible profit arising from the same trade. What you are saying here is that if you have two trades that you are carrying on, let's say you have Abdulwahab Nigeria Limited, and you also have ABC Nigeria Limited. So this Abdulwahab Nigeria Limited is into production of furniture, production and sales of furniture, and ABC Nigeria Limited is into production of fittings. They are two different entities, but it is owned by the same person. What we are saying here is that if you made any loss from furniture, you cannot offset it from fittings. You cannot say because you are the one operating the two different businesses together that you are going to offset this from this. So we have an instance whereby this could only be offset from the losses made from furniture could only be offset from fittings, provided that company is is operated as an individual, not a company. So provided it is a trade, right, or the loss is also incurred by an individual. You know, individual is the one that is into a trade or vocation, right? Why a company is into a businesses. Are you getting it now? So that is what we are saying here. That the losses that is made by one segment of the business or by one entity cannot be set off against another profits of different businesses. Overall tax liability by mitigating the impacts of this. What we are saying here is that if you make the loss, you make the loss, if you not make profit in year, you will be allowed to set the losses that are made in the prior year from this year 3, which will also result in you not paying any tax at the end of the year. That's what we are saying here. And it's really ensure that taxation is laid over time. That business recover from that is going out of it. So if tax provides room for taxing profits, to also to relieve losses whenever it arises, right? So that's what it's 7 of the conditions for losses deductibility from subsequent years accessible profits, which are as follows. Number one, the amount of loss to be allowed should be that which the revenue service is satisfied with as having been incurred by the company in a trade or a business during the preceding year basis. So what this connotes is that as a company, if you make any loss in a year, you cannot relieve that loss in that same year. Are you getting my points? Please hold on for me, please. Sorry, I'm back. So what we are saying is that the losses that could be relieved, it must be the one that the revenue service must have been satisfied with. If not, they will tell you to reverse the loss that you have claimed to be deducted from the taxable profits. I mean, from the accessible profits. That is number one. So, in no circumstances shall the amount to be relieved exceed the total amount of the loss incurred. If you have a loss of 7,000, you cannot relieve more than 7,000 from the accessible profit that you have during the accounting year. Relief can only be granted against profit from the same trade or business in which the loss was incurred. Like I explained earlier, you can only relieve the loss from the business that's you can only relieve the loss, right, from the business that generates the loss when such business make profits in the subsequent period. So if you had business in sugar and there is loss, you cannot claim the loss from salt. You cannot say because you are having profit from salt in this current year that claim you are going to claim that your loss relief from the salt, but rather you will need to wait till the time you start making profit from the sugar before you can actually claim it. With effect from 2007, losses can be carried forward indefinitely and relieved against future profits. If the losses that we are talking about relates to the individual, there is a restriction to that. You can only carry the loss for 4 years. If you're unable to relieve all the loss for that 4 years, every other balances on that loss relief will be forfeited. So what you are saying is that if you made a loss in 2020, you know that your year of assessment for this period will be 2020, and for it will be 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024 year of assessment. If you are unable to relieve all the losses as a result of the profit that have been generated, the loss that relates to 2020, if you cannot relieve everything by 2024 year of assessment, it should be the remaining balance will be forfeited. So that is what we have here. And the loss available for relief should be computed on the same basis as that of accessible profit for year of assessment. So when you are computing your loss relief, it should also be on the same basis. So which means you cannot have a loss in 2020 and you know that your accessible, you know that your basis of assessments for that year, you cannot say that the loss that was made in the year 2020, which the basis period will be, let's say, from 1 January to 31st December. So you cannot come and relieve the loss of 2021, of 2022 from this. So it must be between the year of assessment must be the same period. So if you want to relieve a loss for the year, if you want to relieve a loss for 2021 year of assessment, that your loss relief, the base period definitely be from January 1, 2020 to 31st December 2020. The loss relief too must also follow the same year of assessment that you want to relieve from. Then we have two types of loss relief. We have the current loss relief and the carry forward loss relief. For the current year loss relief, so it is only granted to the individual. So the individual in business or in trade or vocation. Why the carry forward loss relief is granted to both individual and the company. So before you can be granted current year loss relief, you must make an application to the relevant tax authority, right? And the relief is not granted automatically. So you must make an application within 12 months after the end of the year of assessments in which the losses arises. So you must make sure that you write to relevant tax authority before you can say that you want to claim the loss relief. The losses incurred from a particular source of income can be relieved against other sources. So that is one of the different That's one of the differences that we have between the carried forward loss relief and the current year loss relief. We have established that it is only granted to the individual taxpayer, and secondly, it must also be made in writing. Then, thirdly, you can also relieve this one from other profits, and it is just only once in a year. Only once in a year. So, what you are saying here is that if you make a loss, let's say an individual that is into a business of shoemaking and also shoe selling. If an individual has two different businesses that is making a shoe in one segment and is also selling shoe in another segment. So what you are saying here is that if a shoemaking business is making a loss and a shoe selling business is making a profit, in the first year of assessment, you can actually relieve this loss that you make from the shoemaking business. You can you can set it off against the profit coming from the shoe selling business. So, and it is just only for the first year. So then the remaining one, you can now carry it forward. So when you now carry it forward, the subsequent losses could only be relieved from the shoemaking business. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying here. You can
It's
be
clear. It's
allowed.
clear.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Then carry forward loss relief. This type of loss relief is granted automatically, so you don't need to write. It's granted automatically to both companies and the individual. And this type of loss can only be carried forward against the future profits from the same source. So you have soft business, then you also have sugar business. So if there is any loss from this salt business, you can only set off the loss against the profits from the salt business in the subsequent year. You cannot say because there is a profit from the sugar business that you are going to set off against each other. No. Regardless whether you are a company or you are an individual and you have a carry forward loss. So that carry forward loss can only be offset against the profit of the business that generated the same loss. So now the priority of loss relief. In any given instance, loss relief of a prior year should be considered before the current year loss incurred by the company or individual. This connotes that the relief in respect of earlier loss has a priority over the current year loss. In 2020, you made a loss of 5,000. In 2021, you also made in 2021 you also made a loss of 3,000. In 2022, in 2022, this will have you been used for year of assessment for 2021, right? 2021 year of assessment. So this one will also be used for 2022 year of assessment. So by 2022 year of assessment, your carry forward loss relief will be 8,000 in your 2022 year of assessment, right? So when you now get to your 2023 year of assessment, no, when you now get to 2022 year of this, okay, you now make profits of, let's say, 4,000 in 2022, right? This profit for 2022 will be used in 2023 year of assessment. And you already have some carry forward loss relief. So what you are saying here is that before you can even relieve any loss, it must be this 5,000. It must be from this 5,000 first. So you cannot say because you have 4,000 that you now come and relieve this whole 3,000. No. So you still carry this one forward and relieve the one that's happened first. So that is what we are saying. Then, where a taxpayer incur loss in a particular year of assessment, and also has a capital allowance to recoup, the priority of loss relief principle will be applicable. So what we are saying here is that in the same year of assessment, you have a loss relief and you also have the capital allowance that you also want to claim. Hmm? Before you claim anything, we also claim capital allowance from our profits. So we are now saying that before you claim anything from your profits, loss relief must come first. So if you have a profit of, let's say, 40,000, and you have capital allowance that you want to claim, capital allowance of 15,000, and you also have a loss that you have carried forward for, let's say, 70,000. You cannot say that because this one is lower than 15,000, is lower than 70,000, that you are going to claim your capital allowance first. The first thing you will need to do here is to offset this loss relief that you have carried forward. So the remaining balance will now be carried forward. So that is what we have about loss relief here. So in this situation, the loss will be relieved by the taxpayer before capital allowance is considered. The loss relief is always considered before any release. So where the amount available after the loss has been relieved against the accessible profit is not enough to cover for capital allowance. So you have profit of 50,000, you have a capital allowance to be claimed for 25,000, and then you also have the loss relief carry forward. Your loss relief carry forward was 35,000. So what you are saying is that the first thing you need to do is to first offset this 35,000 from the 50,000 profit that you have. Then we are talking about tax profits now, not accounting profits. So you must have set off this 35,000 against the 50,000. So when you do that, the remaining balance you will have will be 15,000. So it is from this 15,000 that you now offset what you have from this 25,000. So which means your capital allowance unutilized would be 10,000 that you can carry forward to the next period. That is what this third point is explaining to us. Now let us take a question. My World Nigeria Limited is into a printing activities. The profits or loss returns have been dwindling for several years. The management is concerned of the situation of the business activities and has consulted your firm, Aderoju Professional Services, a firm of tax and financial accounting practitioners, to help provide guidance and advise the ways they could adopt to address the lingering issue of dwindling returns. The following details were presented. The printing business was relatively stable prior to significant change in prior to significant change. Sorry, hold on. So prior to significant change in technologies, profits had moved from positive to negative. The financial details of the business are as follows. Year ended 30th November 2013, 300,000. Year ended 30th November 2014, 600,000. Year ended 30th November 2015, 1.5 million. Then year ended 30th November 2016, 2 million loss. Year ended 30th November 2017, 500,000 loss. As a tax consultant in your firm, your tax manager has requested you to come up with the computation of the company's accessible profit using the relevant tax law to enable him support his conclusion on the client engagement. So the scenario that we have here is that the company has the company engaged a professional service firm to help them look into how they could actually address these issues that they've been having. And you, because that's how I can be, that's how they'll be bringing the scenario. So because I want us to start familiarizing ourselves with the way we write a memo, because that is one of those things in our question. There will be we may write like three memos. So in the either memo or the letter, so we need to start learning it now. So this issue, what's it called? As a tax consultant in your firm, your tax manager is doing some work and he now push some other work to you to work on. And if you are given this type of scenario, how are you able to do it? Number one, we have understood that this is a this is an issue of tax relief, I mean loss relief. So let us solve this question. So we are going to take today's date as our as the day. So when you are given this kind of question in the exam, right? So you may decide to use the exam date. The day you are writing the exam, you may decide to use so but and sometimes they may also state when the memo was forwarded to you or when the issues were sent to you for you to address. So what we have here is this. So let us take today's date. So today is 14th, right? September 2025. So you have a memo. This is it may be in form of uh email. It may be in form, so let us even assume that because in an organization it should be a mail that will definitely be sent to you. So when you are now responding to the email, okay, this is not an email, so this is a memo. Maybe because we are not given in the question that an email was sent to us. So we can now say, okay, from senior tax consultant. So tax manager, then topic, which is the issue that you actually want to address, subject, computation of accessible profits or loss for my world Nigeria Limited for the relevant years of assessment. So after coming up with you have already written your dates, then the person that you also want to address it to. So you can now say, please find attached the computation of the accessible profit or loss in respect in respect of the please find attach the computation of it of world of the
Hello.
yes, hear you.
I'm not seeing the screen. I don't know if it's network that is
Yeah,
affecting the screen or what.
Yes, we are not seeing sir, and it's cracking.
I'm actually sharing my screen, oh, but why you saying it before?
We
Why you
cannot see
saying
the
the screen
screen.
before?
Like me, I can't see
Why
the screen, oh, and like your voice is cracking.
okay? Why you saying the screen before?
I thought I was the only one. I don't know you two, the
Sorry,
same thing yourself.
is it that someone let me present you? Why is it not on please?
Gloria, how are you?
So I'm fine, oh, but I joined very late because I had issues with connecting.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
sorry.
okay. It's well.
I'm even
Don't worry.
trying. I am even trying to stop the presentation here, but it's even going.
Network is very terrible today.
Maybe it's trying to reconnect.
Yes, I think so.
Where are you joining from?
From the State.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm
What
in
about
Kano.
you? Oh
I'm in
wow,
Kano.
interesting. Okay, that's nice.
I just say Kano, Kaduna. At times I'm in Kaduna. At times I'm in Kano.
Oh,
Depends
okay,
on worksheet.
okay. Oh, that's interesting. Hold on, sir.
Mm, yeah.
God help us pass this exams.
Oh,
Is
amen.
this your
Oh.
first time
Sorry.
writing taxation?
If I should attempt this one, it will be my third time. I've
Um,
not been writing.
God, they are
I've
very
not been.
good. So this is my second time, sir. We are writing only
Oh,
taxation and SFM.
okay, okay.
I passed the other three last diet.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you. So hope it's only taxation or you have others that you're reading to.
Hello. So can you hear me now? Is it better now?
Okay.
It's better. Oh, apologies.
Can you
I
hear you
didn't.
now, sir?
Oh,
No problem,
sorry.
sir. Yeah, this is the time to catch up. Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. Okay, so is it better now?
Yes,
Yes,
I
yes.
can see the screen.
Okay, so what I was explaining before was that when it comes to our ICANN professional exam, they will definitely give us a memo. Are you getting it now? And when you are given a memo, you will be asked to support your memo with computation. Are you getting it? So because in sometimes in exam, you already understand the topic that they want to give you, right? But what you now need to do is that you just do some at least just to see how you can actually respond to some memo, right? So that is what they believe that as a professional student, when you are faced with some issues, how are you going to address it? It's not just for you. It is not enough for you to just say you are okay. This is the solution. So what you are saying here is that at least let us start incorporating how to write a memo. Just so it's not so you don't need to write like 2 or 3 pages. So what you are just trying to do is that you are, if it was a memo, how do you address your memo? If it was a letter, how do you prepare your letter? If you are so those are the kind of things that you just need to be incorporating in our questions now. So and I said that but did you see the question that I read the other time before I started the solution?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So we are saying that in a company, what we are treating is a loss relief, right? But when they give us the question, they also want to understand. I mean, the ICANN will also want to test, maybe we even understand what we are doing. Now we are the as a senior tax consultant in your office, your tax manager gave you tasks to go and work on, right? The tax manager is working on that engagement and he now thought about it that okay, being a senior tax consultant, you should be able to sort out some things. So he or she pushed some work to you to work on so that once you are done, he will just review it and incorporate it in his own report, right? So now we are now saying that okay, we want to write our letter. So it's not so we don't need to start writing maybe like 10 or 3 pages. So memo is not something that is really is just a brief and then you support it with your work. So and I said, okay, so we are this is our memo. If you are writing an internal memo, you already have your dates. We can even have our dates here rather than bringing it to this side. Since it's not a letter, it's a memo. You can just say date. This is our date. So let us use today's date, 14th September 2025. So 14th September 2025. So we write the date. Where is the letter coming from? Where is the memo coming from? From senior tax consultant, then to the tax manager. Then subject computation of accessible profit or loss for my World Nigeria Limited for the relevant years of assessment. So we are now saying, please find attached the computation of the accessible profit or loss in respect of my World Financial Records for the relevant years of assessments in accompanied appendices. So what we want to determine is our what we want to determine is whether there is going to be accessible profits or there won't be accessible profit during that year. So now that we are, and another thing I also advise is that when you are writing your memo, you can just leave maybe just like a page and then you start with your computation. If apparently you want to bring in some numbers into your letter, into your memo that you are writing, so you can leave a page or 1.5 pages, then you now start with your computation. Then our appendices now. So let us come here. We now have our appendices. Sorry. So we have our appendices, which is our computation. Now, what are we asked to do? We want to determine the accessible profit for the first year, right? We want to determine our accessible profit for the first year. So where is the question? So this is the question. This is our profit for the first year. This is our accessible profit for the first year. But we are asked to what? We are asked to determine. I mean, we are asked to do the compute to come up with the computation of company's accessible profits, right? So this is actually the profit that was made during the year, but we need to compute whether there is going to be any tax on it during the year or not. So this is 2023. So the first thing we need to do here is that we need to come up with our we need to come up with our basis period. So what is our basis period? We have basis period. Okay, the first thing is our year of assessments, right? We have year of assessments. Let me come. We have year of assessments. Then we have basis period, and then we also have accessible profits. Now, this our year of assessments that we have here. I will need to be changing through this. Sorry. Okay, so these are our year of assessments. Our year of assessments for 2013 will be what? It will be 2014, isn't it? It will be
Yes.
2014. Yeah. So our year of assessments here will be 2014. Then our basis period will be from 1/12, 2012 to 30/11, 2014. So what our accessible,
2013.
oh
2013.
sorry, 2013. Yeah, thanks. 2013. So our accessible profit for this period is
3 million now.
3 million. This is 3 million. So what is now going to be our tax for the year? So assuming our tax rate is 30%. So our taxable profits now at 30% would be how much? That would be 900,000. So these are taxable profits, which is 900,000. Then the following year, which is 2015 year of assessments, our basis period is between 1/12, 2013 to 30/11, 2014. Our accessible profits, sorry, our accessible profits here is 600,000. So, and our taxable profits at 30%. Taxable profit at 30% of this will give us 120,000. No, is it 120,000 or 180,000?
180.
Yeah, 180,000. Then 2016 year of assessment, 1/12, 2014 to 30/11, 2015. So what we have is loss. What we have is loss, which is 1.5 million. So we have 1.5 million. Because there is no any profit during this period, there is no any profit during this period that we can. So what we just need to do here is to carry forward this loss because there is no any profit that we can actually set off against this. So what we now have here is that so we don't have taxable profit and we don't also have taxable, I mean we don't have taxable profit during the year. So what it then means now is that we now have loss relief. Are we how much are we relieving? Nothing. We are not relieving anything here. So which means we have loss relief carry forward. which will give us 1.5. So this is what we are going to carry forward here. So automatically the total loss relief, okay, this, sorry, this we are loss relief carry for loss relief brought forward is nil. Loss relief for the year, we are not relieving, we are unable to relieve anything for the year, right? We are unable to relieve anything for the year. So which means the total loss relief that we are going to have, let me correct this. Loss relief brought forward, then the total loss for the year, loss for the year is 1.5. Relief for the year is nil, zero, right? So loss
Uh,
carry forward.
I have a question.
Okay,
Yes, the loss that was suffered in the year 2015,
yes.
I thought it should be relieved in 2015 year of assessment.
No, that is what we are saying, that you don't relieve a loss in the current year. The only taxpayer that can relieve loss in the current year is individual.
Okay,
It
okay,
is
okay.
only individual that can relieve. I said it at the beginning of the class. It's only individual that can relieve the loss from
In the current year.
uh yes, from the current year, and it's just only for the first year.
Okay,
Do you understand? So for the company, it's not available for the company.
it's all
So
right.
your
It's all right.
which means our loss relief is on preceding year basis. So in
Oh,
2017 year of assessment, 2017 year of assessment, this will also start from 1/12, 2015 to 30/11, 2016. So our total loss was 2 million. The total loss was 2 million. Then we have loss relief carry forward, loss relief brought forward, which is 1.5 million. Charge for the year, losses for the year, loss for the year, 2 million. Relief for the year, there is no profit for the year, so there is no way we can actually relieve. That is zero. Then loss carry forward, that would be 3.5. So which means our taxable profits is also going to be our taxable profits. I mean tax at 30% will also be nil. Tax, income tax at 30%, it will be nil. So in 2018 year of assessment, our basis period will be from 1/12, 2016 to 30/11, 2017. So what do we have? It was 500,000. Then loss brought forward, that is 3.5. Loss for the year, that is 500,000. Then we have relief for the year, 0. Losses carry forward. This will be 4 million. So let us now assume here, as I want us to do something, let us now assume here that year ended 30 November 2018. The company started making profits. Let's say they made a profit of 1,750,000. So what can we now do here? In 2019 year of assessment, we have 1/12 2017 to 30/11 2018. So what is the accessible profit? 1,750,000, right? So in that case, we have loss brought forward. The loss brought forward was how much? 4 million. So how much can we relieve? How much can we relieve here? We can relieve the whole 1,750. Are you getting my point now? We can actually relieve whole 750. So loss relieve during
But we
the
have not
year.
taken the percentage taxable income tax.
No, before you
That's
take
just
income tax, you have to, okay,
okay.
you see
We
all
have to
this
live
one
on the
now.
profit.
You can see that, yeah, exactly. Tax
No, it's all right.
at 30%. So it's good to also show it so that the examiner will know will know what you are doing. Tax at 30% of accessible profits. So it is nil. Are you getting it now? So that it will indicate you also understand what you are doing. So now relief during the year, you can relieve 1,750. So if we relieve 1,750, how much can we now carry forward? Loss carry forward. How much can we carry forward? 1,750 minus this. That will be 2,250. So this is the loss that we are going to carry forward here. So what that means now is that tax at 30% of taxable, 30% of our accessible profits. Our accessible profit is still nil. Are you getting my point now? Accessible profit, at the end of the day, our taxable profit is nil. So of taxable profit is nil. But we have to charge education tax. Education tax at 2%. At 2.5%, sorry, of accessible profits. So our accessible profit here is 1,750 to be 2%, 2.5% rather. Times 1,750. What is the answer, please? So that's the only thing that we are going to have here. So what we are trying to establish here is that the fact that you made a loss during the year, I mean, the fact that you had loss relief that you want to set off against your profit that you have in the current year of assessments does not mean you cannot have a tax. I mean, does not mean you cannot have education tax to be paid. So what I'm trying to explain here is that if you have loss relief or you have a loss carry forward of, let's say, 10 naira, and you have accessible profits of 7 naira, you know, you are still unable to recover all the loss. You are still unable to recover all the loss. You still have some 3 naira that is left that you need to go and relieve in the subsequent period. But the fact that you already have the accessible profit, so you are supposed to charge education tax on it. I hope it's clear. So let us take another question. So Chichi Limited commenced business on March 2020. The company makes account to 31st of August each year. The following relates to the company trading activities. This is the adjusted profit or loss. This is the adjusted profit or loss. Period ended 31st of August. Okay, so now after you have done this, after this, you can now say that consequently, based on the computation, based on the computation in the appendix, the company will be assessed to tax in the 2014 and 2015 year of assessments, while the losses that the company incurred during the 20 during the 2016 to 2018 year of assessments will only be relieved from 2019 year of assessments and the subsequent period. The appendix shows how the computation how the computations were arrived at. eh, So that's why you can see the reason I said that we need to give some space so that in case if you want to continue with your, even the best thing to do is to first go and do your computation. Leave a space for your, what's it called? Leave a space for where you are going to write your memo. Do your computation. Then when you complete your computation, you can now come back and then write your memo, your letter, or whatever you want to write there. So any question at this junction?
I think you should also make an emphasis on education tasks as well.
Exactly. Thank you. So, but here now, if I'm saying that if I say I'm going to write anything here, it means I'll need to start rubbing off what you have done. So, like I said, the best strategy is that do your computation first. And I'm even glad that you remember that okay, the company will definitely pay education tax. Even in this period too, they are also supposed to pay
You
education
see,
tax at
this is still why I
2.5
used to have.
percent.
Hello.
Hello, yes, I'm with you. I can hear you.
I said this is the reason why I'm still having issues with the ICANN pattern of exams. You understand?
Okay.
They always put students in tight corner in terms of living space and not be able to write what they want to write at the end of the day, because
No, 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 no.
calculating those things.
They are not giving. They are not putting anyone in tight corner. Oh. They are not put. And that is, you see, even the. Thank God you are not just writing this paper now. Have you ever seen anyone that even requested for extra sheet since you've been writing? I can.
Where can they? Time is not always enough for anybody.
You see, so that is for you to even know that the script that they are giving you cannot even finish it. Since I wrote all the exams that I wrote to, I've never seen anyone that will request for extra sheets. Do you understand my point now? So they will not tell you not to just leave the space once you do your computation. But the thing is that sometimes this out of 10 marks, while your letter will now be 6 marks. Are you getting it now? So, which means we need to, because they want you to interpret what you have done. Okay, you can now say that, okay, in 2020, maybe you now want to put the number in the memo that in 2020, so in 2020, in 2015 year of assessment, the total education tax, the total education tax that the company will be paying amounts to this, why the taxable profits, or why the income tax is at so is at 900,000. Are you getting it now? So from there you can now be referring, kindly refer to appendix 1 for details computation performed. Are you getting it now? So that is what I can just say there. Nobody will say you should not leave any space. Leave your space. Then when you are through with your computation, come back and quickly write your memo so that you move on. So any other question before we attempt question 2? Glory, I want to believe that you understood.
The
Yes, sir.
value of
I
the
understand.
10,000.
Okay.
I believe it's 43,750, right?
Yes, 43,750. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
It's all right.
So that's
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks. Okay, so let us quickly do question 2. Because once we are through with this one, we move to, like I said, the basic information that you are going to be working on in our income tax, your adjusted profits, your loss relief, your capital allowance, then your capital. So after this one, we are going to start with the capital allowance, then and after our capital allowance, then we move to our capital gains tax. So from the capital gains tax, we can, at least because we still have some what we call balancing allowance and balancing charge, and they also form part of what you need to incorporate when you are computing your final income tax at the end of the year. Okay, so question 2 now. Chichi Limited commenced business on 1st of October 2020. The company makes accounts to 31st of August each year. The following information relates to the company trading activities. These are adjusted profit. They said adjusted profit for this year. So 2021, 59,000, 2022, 370, 2023. This then capital allowances for the relevant years as follows. Require determine the basis period and tax liabilities for the relevant year. So this is what we have to do. So if you are to answer this type of question, what are we expected to do first? In this situation now, it means they are also giving us a commencement rule. Are you getting my point? We are also giving a commencement rule because they said the business commenced on what? This company commenced business on 1st of March 2020. Are you getting it now? So that's the first thing that we need to do. Mm. So, and sometimes another thing is this: sometimes they may also give you a scenario whereby they will tell you that okay, you attended the seminar. When you attended the seminar, and someone, maybe one of the participants now brought this issue to you that you should, or maybe you exchange a contact, and when you go back to your office, so, one of the participants now sent this information to you to advise them on what to do. So what you need to do is that you first, you now address that mail, okay, in respect to your letter and in respect to your email received on so dates. So kindly know that in your letter, number one, you need to state the commencement. You need to say that okay, since the company commenced the business on 1st of March 2020, it means the first year of assessment. That it means the first year of assessment will be from the dates the business commenced the business till the end of the accounting period. Then while the second year of assessment, what do you understand? So that is what we need to do. So your first year of assessment will be on actual year basis, which means the dates that the business commenced the operation. Then the second year will be from the first date after first day beginning after the end of the first year till the end of the accounting period. Then the third year then is also the first day beginning after the year end of the second year after the so what I'm saying here is that your first year, we know that our first year is from the date of commencement, right, to the accounting end date, our accounting end dates. While the second year is first day beginning after the dates of our accounting period ended in the first period. I don't know, maybe I don't know if you are getting my explanation there. I know that we
We
have
are
actually
following.
done this, but exactly. So I'm just trying to recap what we have done in the past. So invariably, what we are to do here is that we are going to compute our we are going to compute our accessible profit based on the commencement rule. So, and if you are to do our commencement rule, so what we are going to do here is that we have our year of assessments, we have our our basis period, and then we have our accessible profit. Accessible profit. So the first year of our assessments will be when? It will be in 2021. Are you getting my point? Now, our first year of assessment will be in 2021 because the year end of the company is when? Is December, it's August. It's August. So, and if you have 31st of August, then the following year, which is 2021, is going to be our year of assessment. So, which means our accounting profit, our basis period here will be year of assessment first is when? 2021. And our basis period is from when? 1st of March 2020 to 31st of August 2020. So from the date of commencement till the end of the accounting year end. Now, the profit that we have here is for how many months?
It's for
The
18
profit that we
months.
is it 18 months?
18 months. Period to
Okay,
31st August
okay, yes,
2021.
yes, yes. So from March is how many months? March 2020 is from March 2020 to December 2020. That is 10 months,
10,
right?
that's 10
Then
months.
plus 10. Yeah, that is 18 months. Thank you. So it means you are going to have 10. It will be 10 divided by 18. No, 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 it's not 10. No, this is how many months here? From March to August, March,
That's
April,
six
May, June,
months.
July, August. So that is 6 months. So it will be 6 divided by 12 times 59,000. So this is
6
loss
divided by
now.
15.
Oh, sorry, 18. 6 divided by 18 times 59,000 loss. What's the answer?
We have 19,667.
19,667. This is loss. Is there going to be any income tax? Income tax at
No.
30%, that will be nil, right? So it will be nil. Then in 2022 year of assessment, it will be from 1st of September. The first date beginning after this year end, which is 1st of September 2020 to the year end, which is 31st of August 2021. 31st of August 2021. So automatically this is going to be 12 over 18 times 59,000 loss, which will give us how much? So, and our tax and our income tax
We
is
have
not
39,300.
automatic. Okay, sometimes they may also tell us that the company is a small business, or they may tell us that the company is a medium size. When it is a medium size business is they will be paying how much? They will be paying 20, they'll be paying 20%, and their revenue is from 25 million to 100 million. That is medium sized business for us. Are you getting it now? So that is medium sized business. So which means that if they give you a rate, please adopt that rate and then you move on. So what's the answer for this one?
39,333.
39,333. And before we even do this, let us before we do this, sorry, I just remember something now. So which means there is not going to be any profit for the year. So what we have is loss. So we can now say that loss brought forward, that will be nil, right? Then loss for the year, that will be 19,667. So loss relief for the year, nil, nil. So loss carried forward, that will be how much? 19,667. That is our. Then we can now come to 2022 year of assessment. And don't forget, we are also giving capital allowance. We are also giving capital allowance here. Capital allowance of 40,000. So which means in this year, of 2020 that we have capital allowance, so automatically our capital allowance will also be for this particular period, which is 2021. No, what we assume here is that the capital allowance has already been computed for us. Are you getting my point? It has been calculated for us. So which means we don't need to start saying that we want to stress ourselves regarding the computation of capital allowance. But what we are saying here is that the capital allowance, there is no way we can even capital allowance for the year. Our capital allowance brought forward is also nil. Then charge for the year, that is 40,000. Utilized during the year, nil. So unutilized capital allowance carry forward, that is 40,000. So these are capital allowance that's also carried forward. We can now come back to 2022 year of assessment. Our basis period will be from when? It will be from 1st of September 2020 to 31st of August 2021. So it would be what? 18. I mean, it would be 12. 12 divided by 18 times 59,000. So what does that one give us? What does that one give us?
39,333.
39,333.
333.
This is also loss. So which means that we also have loss brought forward. Loss brought forward 19,667, right? And we have loss for the year 39,333. There is no way we can relieve. We cannot relieve anything since it was a loss for the year. Loss carried forward. That would be 59,000. Then our capital allowance. Capital allowance brought forward. That is 40,000. Charged for the year. Our charge for the year was 38,000. Our charge for the year was 38,000. Sorry. 2021. Okay. Yeah, okay. So this, yeah, capital allowance that we computed for 2021 that will be used in 2022. Okay, yeah. So charge for the year is this. Then utilized during the year. Since we are unable to even relieve any loss, there is no way you can also utilize any capital allowance, nil. So capital allowance carry forward, that would be 78,000. In 2023 year of assessments, so we have basis period to be from 1st of September 2021 to 31/8 2022. So what do we have? We have 370,000 profits, right? 370,000. So from here, we can now start relieving, because the total loss that we have was 59,000. Are you getting my point now? So it's 59,000. But we can now what? We can now take the whole 59,000 that we have here. So we have loss brought forward. It was 59,000. Loss brought forward was 59,000. Then loss relief. We can relieve the whole 59,000. Loss relief carry forward is nil. So when we relieve 59,000, so we bring the 59,000 here. Are you getting my point? So when we bring the now, what's the total that we're going to have here? 59,000 minus 370.
We have 311,000.
311. So then our capital allowance brought forward, that was 78,000. Then charged for the year, the charge for the year was
32,000. 32,000.
32,000. So everything is 100
100,
and that's 110, Abi.
110.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in a situation where our capital allowance is lower than our profits after adjusting for our loss relief, we can still take the whole capital allowance. But in a situation whereby our capital allowance is higher than the old profit that we have to restrict it to 62, 66. We have to restrict it to quarter of our accessible profits. Are you getting my point now? So that is what we are going to do here. So this is the total capital allowance. Then utilized during the year. This 110,000. So we do not have any capital. So let's just bring it here. So what's the figure? What do we have here? So capital allowance brought forward is also nil.
201,000.
Capital allowance carry forward is also nil.
201,000.
I'm coming.
Okay.
Nil. Then this one is 201,000. So these are our taxable profits. Then income tax at 30% of 201,000. So what do we have?
60,300.
Income
6,300.
tax at, I'm coming. Income tax at 30% of 201,000. You say it's 60,000, Abi. Then we
Yes,
now have
300.
education tax at 2.5% of accessible profits. So how much is that one? That will be 2.5 times. So what's the total accessible profits? 370.
Sorry, sir. For the income tax,
2.5%.
is it not
Yeah.
60,300?
Okay, 60,300.
No.
Then for this one, education tax, our education tax will be 2.5%
Yes.
times 370. How much is that one?
9,250.
9,250. So the total taxable for the year will be these two. So the next period that we have, which is 2023, it will be 2024 year of assessment. (2024), this is 1 of September 2022 to 31/8/2023. This is how much. This is 350,000. Then we do not have any capital allowance, so we just say taxable income tax at 350,000, income tax at 30% of 350,000. So what's the answer? Then education tax at 2.5%
Uh,
of
what about capital allowance?
350.
I try to take your capital
Oh,
allowance.
oh, 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 thank you. So we have capital allowance carry forward, that is nil. Charged for the year. Our capital allowance charged for the year. 20, is it? Sorry, for 2024, for 2023 rather, that would be 28,000. Then utilized during the year, the whole 28,000 was also utilized. Capital allowance carry forward, it is nil. So we deduct this from this. How much is this?
We have 322,000.
So we can now say is our taxable income. So income tax at 30% of 322,000. How much is that?
We have
99,
96,600.
99,600.
90 what?
96,600.
96,600.
And then we have our education tax at 2.5% of 3 2.5% of 350,000. How much is that?
Oh, 8,750.
Eh? What do you call it?
8,000,
8,750.
8,750.
10,750.
8,
8,750.
8,
750.
8. Okay.
Yes.
So the total tax, you can now add the two together. So that is what you are asked to do.
18,000.
10,000.
105,350.
Eh?
105,350.
205,350. So this is the total tax paid by the company. So that is all we have for the capital allowance. That is all what we have. Sorry, for loss relief rather. So any question, so that we can just maybe do some sort of introduction to capital allowance, and then we continue from Wednesday. Any questions so far? So in the absence of questions, I want
No
to believe
question.
okay. I want to believe that we all understood the topics. So
Anyway, The 25,000. Hello.
Yes, I can hear
Hello.
you. Yes, yes, I'm with you.
So the 25,000 that is left for capital allowance will be for against 25 year of assessment, right?
Exactly, 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 exactly. Yeah, it's because the
It's all
capital
right.
allowance, because the what's it called? These are was this capital allowance that we are talking about here must also be it must also align with our basis period. Are you getting my point? So you are now saying that capital allowance is for the relevant assessment years.
Okay. Yes. All right.
So that's just it. Okay, so let me just pause here. And we have a few minutes left.